What is going on, everybody? Tyler Brand back here with another video today. Part 2 of 4 of our game-by-game schedule breakdown for the New England Patriots. Yesterday, we had them play their first 4 games of the schedule, and of course, they went 2-2 through those first 4 games. Now, we get into the second set of the 4 sets of games that we're going to review, game by game again, obviously. So we're going to get into the next set of games today. Maybe the schedule lightens up a little bit. Maybe the Patriots fare a little bit better through these 4 games. They have their bye week in this set of 4 games that we're going to talk about today. So things maybe lighten up a little bit. Maybe things change a little bit. This is where the Patriots put some good wins together. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Remember, after those first 4 games yesterday, I had the Patriots at 2-2 headed into these 4 games. Let's do it. So, week 4, the Patriots lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. They come back home week 5, and they play the Denver Broncos. Again, hosting at Gillette Stadium. Some key additions to the Broncos this offseason: Graham Glasgow, Melvin Gordon, A.J. Boye, Jarrell Casey. All, good, productive guys that are added to the system there in Denver. So the defense, I think, should be good, at times very good. Now, the big loss as of yesterday that was reported, Von Miller looks like he's going to be out for the season with an Achilles injury, something that's described as kind of a freak accident. That's a pretty big blow for the Denver defense. Now, in terms of the offensive side of the ball, adding Melvin Gordon makes that running game even more formidable, even though it was decent already. So I think that poses possibly a little problem for New England. And while the Denver offense looks pretty promising, Courtland Sutton is very good. Jerry Jeudy has very, very high prospects. Noah Fant is expected to be a big part of the offense. Melvin Gordon again. The thing I think here, the underlying thing is this is Drew Lock's first crack at Bill Belichick. And we all know the story. We all know the record. Rookie quarterbacks or young quarterbacks, especially their first time playing Bill Belichick, it doesn't normally go well. So I just think that while this is a promising Denver team, just don't think it's going to go well for them. I don't think Drew Lock is going to beat Bill Belichick on his first crack. I think it has the potential to be close, but I also think that the Patriots just have a little bit of an edge. As I expect most of the season, I think the Patriots will run the ball. I think they'll be able to run the ball pretty effectively against the Denver Broncos. The weakest part of their defense is the linebacking core. It's a little shallow there, so I think they'll be able to find lanes to run. I think if they can find little spots here and there to create some easy throws for Cam Newton throughout that game, prevent him from going downfield and attacking what is a pretty good secondary, I think that the New England Patriots will be okay against the Denver Broncos. They win this game, and they go to 3-2 on the season. The Patriots beat the Broncos, and then they go into their bye week at 3-2. I am not a big fan of the early bye week. I'd rather them have a bye week at week 10 or later. I just think teams fare better that way. But that is the card they're dealt. So the week 6 bye, week 7, they play San Francisco. They'll get an extra week to prepare. It's a home game against San Francisco, so effectively, this team will be home for almost a month with the bye week, and they'll have, again, extra time to prepare for a very good San Francisco team. Week 7 comes, again, sitting at 3-2, and the New England Patriots host the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. This game will be Sunday, October 25th. 2020. Now, I think the Patriots probably lose this game, but I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for them to win this game. But I will say they more likely than not, they lose this game. There is an upset alert. Now, the biggest transaction, I think, for the San Francisco 49ers was losing DeForest Buckner. Although it was a good trade, it was a good deal for both sides, both Indy and San Francisco. He is not a part of that San Francisco defense in 2020. Now, is San Francisco the more talented team at probably most of, if not every level? Yes, except for maybe really the secondary. That's probably the only spot that New England is just flat out better than them in. With that being said, I think Bill Belichick having the extra week to prepare helps him. And I also think, maybe not much, but I think that Bill Belichick, coaching Jimmy Garoppolo gives him maybe a little bit more of an advantage than people let on. Mike Shanahan, the last time that Bill Belichick saw Shanahan was the Super Bowl when he had, that big collapse of a game. So, not that I think that last reason really stands for much. I think it's more just of something that happened than something that'll play a big factor. But Belichick knows the Shanahan offense. He also respects Shanahan and what he's done as an offensive coordinator and a coach. So I also think, this game could get out of hand. I mean, in the Super Bowl, the game really got out of hand, and this San Francisco team is more talented than that Falcons team, really, in a lot of ways. So I think at the end of the day, the San Francisco 49ers will win this game, but I would put like a little asterisk, maybe an upset alert game with the extra week to prepare, being at home for about a month. San Francisco traveling from West Coast to East Coast, Bill Belichick knowing and having Jimmy Garoppolo for a couple years. I think there's a little bit of a factor here that would add a little spice to this game, but I'm going to take the more talented team, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. Week 8 rolls around here. Now we're getting into November. The Patriots are 3-3 at this point. Things really look a little bit different here without Brady and this new-look Patriots team. Now, this 3-3 team heads up to Buffalo to play the Buffalo Bills. Now, this game, I think, is probably going to be, at this point of the season, the most important game on the Patriots' schedule. I think this dictates how the rest of the season goes for the New England Patriots. And on the other side of the coin, I think this is probably, honestly, the most important game for the Buffalo Bills in the last 15 or 20 years, is this game right here, especially in terms of their expectations in this division and what the future holds for this team. So again, Sunday, November 1st is the date of this game up in Buffalo. Some key additions to an already talented Buffalo group. Stephon Diggs comes in, joins that team. Josh Norman comes in, joins that team for what it's worth. He's been very spotty the last few years in Washington. Mario Addison comes in. They also lose Shaq Lawson now in free agency. Again, at this point, I think this is going to be the most important game for Buffalo, really in a long, long time. This is the statement game for the division in this season. And I think the pressure that I'm not sure Buffalo can rise to the occasion. Again, we have to mention that Josh Allen and Sean McDermott have never beaten the New England Patriots. I think that plays a factor here. And I think the addition of Stephon Gilmore makes that team a little more formidable. However, the last time Gilly saw, Stephon Diggs, he completely locked them up. He made him pretty much a non-factor in that game against the Vikings. Fun fact, that was Tom Brady's 1,000-yard rusher game against the Minnesota Vikings a couple years ago. However, with that being said, Gilly, I don't think will make much, headache of Stephon Diggs. I think it'll be a pretty, light work for the best cornerback in football. However, with that being said, Buffalo is the more talented team. I think if Singletary and Zach Moss come on very strong, rushing could be an issue against the New England defense. I think that'll be a really susceptible part of this defense in 2020. So that could be an issue, but I just don't think that Buffalo has beaten New England yet. They obviously haven't, I should say, and until they do, I just can't pick them here. Bill Belichick still has McDermott and Josh Allen's number. I don't think that defense is taking that far of a step back where Josh Allen should have a field day throwing against that defense. So I still am going to pick New England in a very low-scoring, tough affair. It's going to come down to, who makes the right coaching moves late in the game, and for that, I'm going to take Bill Belichick. Week 9 now, and we are in the heart of November. It's getting chilly, and the Patriots have to go to the Jets on a Monday Night Football game, Week 9, November 9th, 2020. Some key additions for the Jets. They added Brashad Perriman. They added Connor McGovern. They added George Fant. Now, of course, they lost C.J. Mosley. He opted out. Jamal Adams was traded away to Seattle. Robbie Anderson now in Carolina with Matt Rule. So they've kind of had some turnover, some roster turnover in this past offseason. And I just don't think the Jets are ready to play at the level that New England, Buffalo, etc. should be at this season. Now, last season without Mosley and with Adams, the Patriots really won 2 very comfortable games against the Jets. Now, I think the offense will be better because I expect Darnold to take a step forward and play in both of these games. So I expect the Jets to be a little more formidable. But until Adam Gase leaves, I think that him with this offense, with this roster, they're just not very formidable right now. I don't consider the Jets ready to compete at a high level just yet. Maybe they have, a little bit better of a season than I give them. I don't think that's too crazy. I think the defense should still be okay, although not great. And I just think the Patriots still right now are just the flat-out better team. And again, until Darnold or Gase, whoever the coach is going to be, until they beat Bill Belichick, until they beat New England, I find it hard to pick against the guys that have dominated that division until something changes. So I think that the Patriots beat the Jets here. They beat the Bills in Week 8. Back-to-back wins to end off this video. Through 8 games in 9 weeks, the Patriots are at 5-3 for me. Is it their best standings? No. They've certainly been better through 9 weeks before. But I think, given their schedule, the way things lay out, they'll beat enough of the bad teams to be in contention at this point. And the way the rest of their schedule is laid out, they still have a game against Baltimore that they'll play, and we'll go over that in the next video. But I think they'll still put themselves in a position, especially winning your division games, to make a late run and to make the playoffs in 2020. So I don't think that certainly is out of the realm of possibility. I think through this schedule, they're probably going to lose a lot, especially to the elite teams in the NFL. But they're better than, to me, most of the average to below average teams in the league still. And I think through the first 9 weeks of the season here, it shows. So we are halfway through. We have 2 more days until we get into Dolphins coverage. Of course, the Dolphins and the Patriots are on Sunday. Opening day in the NFL, opening night, I should say, Thursday night. That's tomorrow night. I can't wait to watch some real live football. I am so excited. But that is going to do it for this video, part 2 of 4 of the Patriots schedule breakdown. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the schedule breakdown. If you haven't watched the first part already, go and watch the first part. Start there. Come here. Leave a comment down below about all the games. You think there's a game they'll lose, they'll win. You think I'm wrong about something. Leave it in the comments down below. Get at me. Let's talk Patriot football. If you want to follow me on social media, I am on Twitter at @TheTylerBrand, on Instagram at TalkingPats. Again, chop it up with me there. Would love to talk about Patriots football. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We are getting closer every day to 100 followers. I really would love to hit 100 subscribers, by week 1 this Sunday. So subscribe, share with a Patriot fan, share with a football fan, get involved, share all the stuff, like all the stuff. You know what to do. But again, I'm Tyler Brand. Be safe, be good, and I'll catch you on the next video.